One of my mentors, Todd Toback, has an incredible saying, and it's called batteries included. Batteries included. If you want to be a successful business person, then you need to have batteries included. What does that mean? That means you need to have the energy. You need to have the enthusiasm. You need to have the conviction that you know what your business does improves the world, right? Not only that, but how incredible is that of a filter when you are going to hire people to grow your business, right? They have to have batteries included. They have to have their own energy. They have to have their own enthusiasm and conviction that what your business does improves the world. Batteries included. Like, really start thinking about that, right? It's bringing that energy to your day. Do you have batteries included today with the actions that you're taking? Are you taking these actions because, oh, well, I'm supposed to do this? Or are you taking these actions and it's actually energizing your battery every single day? The thought, the dream, the goal, all of this. That should be energizing to you. Yes. Is it tough to go and talk to strangers? Absolutely. Is it tough to get rejected? Absolutely. Is it heartbreaking to lock up a deal and all of a sudden it doesn't close? Absolutely. But I want to do a little bit of exercise with you. I want to really charge up these batteries. I really want to look at this and really visualize this. I wrote this down because I've got some numbers here, and you guys know how good at math I am. But imagine this. Imagine that you close a deal for $20,000, right? You close the deal for $20,000, and most of this audience has already done that. Let's be honest. You guys are absolutely incredible. You're going out there. You're serving the community. It is bananas how successful this audience is. It's the most successful audience on YouTube, no doubt about it. All right? So you know what that feels like. And if you don't, just imagine it. $20,000. Boom, you got a check in your hand. It's in your account. You look at it on that app, your bank app on your phone. $20,000 hits your account. How does that feel? How does that feel, right? Ooh, energy, right? You're starting to feel uplifted. You're starting to feel kind of bulletproof. You're starting to feel powerful, like you've got that rhino skin, that anything that's thrown your way, you can take, you can handle, you can get through. Not only get through, but the experience that you get makes you stronger, right? And now let's imagine that you close $20,000 every month, right? $240,000. Not bad. $240,000. That's like the top, 10% income earners in the country. $240,000. That's one deal every single month at an average of $20,000. $240,000. Now, imagine that you're closing $20,000 every single week. 52 times a year, you get $20,000. That is $1,040,000. Absolutely possible. Absolutely probable. You stay consistent. You stay focused. You don't think you don't grab onto the shiny objects. You stay focused on the mantra of ugly houses, big checks. You go out there and build a service business. That's what we are. We're a service business that goes out there. We talk to distressed property owners and we solve their problems. And then we match up with incredible cash buyers, incredible investors around our city, our state, our country, the world, whatever it is, whoever wants to buy these properties, right? We're matching these things up. It's an incredible service. But we stay focused on this service business. We stay focused on this actual business that we're building. And then all of a sudden, once you hit that $1 million mark, all of a sudden you've got the right team in place. You're starting to replace yourself in these roles. You're starting to implement people that are better than you at each part of these roles. Lead generation. You've got better people making your calls, doing your texts for you, being consistent with you. The conversion, the sales part of this. You have people that are just absolute savages when it comes to lead follow-up, pre-qualifying, and getting the contract signed. And then disposition. You have an unbelievable disposition team that is out there, and they're talking to all the cash buyers, and they're finding all these opportunities, and they're getting referrals from other people to get these deals that you don't have to spend anything on marketing, right? And then all of a sudden, you do $20,000 every 3 days, right? Every 3 days, you do $20,000. That is $2,433,330. $4,433,333. $2.4 million. Boom. Right? All of a sudden, you've got a team. Now you're working in this business 3-5 hours a week. There's 168 hours in a week, but you're working in it 3 to 5 hours a week. Now, instead of being a servant to your business is a servant to you. Right? And you're smart. You've built up incredible referrals. You keep your marketing at about 25% of your income. 25%. You keep your operations and your staff at about 25%. That's a 50% net business. Imagine this. Right? You have a 50%. That means that you're taking home just over $1.2 million. And let's say that you have no write-offs. You have nothing. At 1.2 and 37%. That's the high income tax bracket, right? So 37%, and let's say you another 10% for your state taxes. So you're there, and you're netting 53% on that, which means you make $644,000 basically passive. Now let's imagine the flip side, right? Not the flip side. Let's imagine the personal side of things. You live in a $2 million house. That's a $12,000 mortgage. Let's say you want to ball out. You want to just have some fun. You want another $20,000 just for ancillary whatever. For whatever you want. An extra $20,000 a month. That's $32,000 a month that you're spending on your lifestyle. Seems pretty reasonable, right? So that means that you're spending $384,000 a year for your lifestyle, but you're netting $644,000 in after-tax income. That means you have a remainder of $260,000 that you can invest. Could you buy $1 million property every year with $260,000? Probably pretty close. Maybe it's 30% down, but maybe it's 20% down, right? Maybe it's 25% down. So now you're buying $1 million worth of property every single year on your discretionary income. And you're balling out in a $2 million house, spending $20,000 on whatever you want, right? That has to charge your battery. That has to get you excited. That has to put energy into the day, keeping that image in mind. It has to. That's what it's all about. And the number one thing that really keeps that battery charged, the number one thing that keeps us on the path, the number one thing that keeps us focused is discipline. The discipline to just go. And discipline's not a tough word. It's not a brutal word. It's just one of those things that, like, you consistently do some of the boring things every single day. You stay on the path every single day. You deal with whatever fires come up every single day. You're staying in your lane. You stay focused on what the goal is. That's discipline. Because Jim Rohn has a phenomenal quote right here. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And that's the absolute fact. So, batteries included today. Batteries included today. You're hiring somebody, do they have the batteries included? Or are you constantly trying to get them going, right? I'm telling you, when it comes to yourself and when it comes to hiring, it is absolutely critical. Batteries included. All right? Now, let's jump into why we are here. We're going to be talking about some niche lists, some lists that not a lot of people are going after. I don't know anybody that's doing it on a consistent basis that's really, really, really staying focused on this, but I'm going to show you 5 different lists that you can go after that you can start implementing right away. And this is coming from old school tactics. This is some tactics that I used right when I got into this business because I really wanted to start building relationships and I wanted to start talking to some sellers that I thought would be in a distressed situation outside of just driving for dollars. Okay? So let's hit this one first. Number 1 right here, Craigslist. Boom. Craigslist. And I want you to go in there and I want you to type in the search bar garage sales. Garage. These are literally people selling their stuff. Some of these people are showing you like the inside of their house in these pictures. You can go to these garage sales. You can have conversations. A lot of these have the contact information on these posts. I don't care if they're old posts or not, but when you call them up, you're not calling them up for the garage sale. You're calling them up about their property. They might be on other lists, but they might not. Reach out to these people that are doing garage sales. They obviously need money for the stuff that they have in their property, right? Or at least they're getting rid of some stuff to declutter the house for some purpose. Now, maybe they're just selling it because they have stuff that they don't use anymore, or they have kids' toys, or they have weight room equipment, or whatever it is that people sell in these things. But the garage sales, this is a great opportunity to reach out to people and see if they would consider an offer on their property. Maybe they're moving out. Maybe they're doing something that they need to get rid of all this stuff because they're planning on selling the property. I'm telling you, start calling and going to these garage sales and seeing if they would consider an offer on their property. And if you're going to go to these garage sales, you need to go there and talk to them, maybe buy something, and then start that conversation about what's going on. Are you guys planning on moving? Is that why you're doing the garage sale? I'm actually looking to buy a property in this neighborhood. Just wanted to see if you were thinking about selling and would consider an offer. Right? These are the conversations you have. Think a little bit outside the box. Is this tedious? Sure. But it's the same. I feel like this is the same thing as going to an open house and starting a relationship with an agent. You can have those. You can go on Saturdays. You could drive around being super proactive, and you can go into these open houses, have conversations with the agent, hopefully get referrals. You can do the same thing with the garage sales. Just bounce around to all the garage sales and see what's going on and have those conversations. Are they all going to be good? No. But they could be a massive deal. All right? That's the number one, garage sales. Number two is this, neighborhood services department. Google your neighborhood services department in your area. Okay? This is where the code violation list comes from. These are the people, and it might be called something else in your city or town, but it's basically the same thing, right? The neighborhood services department, who is going around making sure that there's not junk in the streets? Who's going around making sure that the lawns are kept up? Who's going around making sure that there's not like a leaky car on the street or getting pushed into the sidewalk or something like that? That has, houses that, are going to be marked as condemned or unlivable or whatever it is. Neighborhood services department. This is who you want to go see. And I highly suggest that you go in there and talk to them. The address right here in Phoenix, yo, right? You just go in there and you start talking to them and say that you're looking for the code violation list, right? Start having those conversations, building those relationships. If you call them up, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you, you maybe in your area they're a lot sweeter, but in our area we call this neighborhood service department, and they are rough. I mean, you could tell by the 1-star reviews 3 times in a row here that are basically like. The response was that they were trash, right? So listen, these are government employees, right? They don't get paid a tremendous amount, and they have to deal with a lot of drama. So get in there, have a conversation, bring them donuts, bring them cinnamon rolls, the old Jamil Damji trick, bring them whatever, bring them something nice and have a conversation with them and just see if you can get the code violation list. Because you go in there, this is the most up-to-date. And when it's the most up-to-date, that means that your competition is still waiting for it to somehow end up on a website to be able to go after and target. All right? Neighborhood Services Department. Go for it. Next, and you guys can probably see on top, it's kind of like a preview, but Go Section 8. It has now turned into, Go Section 8 has turned into affordablehousing.com. Why would I want you to go to affordablehousing.com? Well, let's go into Phoenix here. And these are all landlords that work with Section 8. All right? These are landlords that work with Section 8. You click on these, and the owner's information is right here. Worst case scenario, could you turn them into a cash buyer? Worst case. And listen, this is nice. These are nice properties. But could you do something creative with these deals? Right? Could you do some sort of owner financing? Could you do some sort of sub 2? Could you go and just look for the properties that are on here that aren't the best shape, right? And see if they would consider selling that property? Absolutely. The worst case scenario is you get cash buyers. You get incredible cash buyers that have a database of all these renters, and they need properties for them. So they need to be buying these properties. AffordableHousing.com is now the new Section 8. GoSection8.com. It used to be GoSection8.com. So affordable housing, get in there, start having these conversations. Next, Facebook Marketplace, homes for sale. Here's where you're going to run into a lot of fellow wholesalers. And a lot of them are brand new because they don't have a cash buyer database. Anybody that posts to Craigslist or Facebook that is a wholesaler, and you know what they are. I mean, you could see some of these. It's very obvious. But you get into some of these for sale by owner properties, and you start reaching out to the homeowners, and you start getting them realistic on the price. If they're not, I'm telling you, there is gold in Facebook Marketplace, homes for sale, also homes for rent. Hey, I see that you have your property as a home for rent. Same with Zillow. You could go. We could do a whole hour on this, but you could go onto Zillow for homes for rent by owner, right? And then just see. Well, I don't know if you could do homes for rent by owner, but you could do homes for rent, and then you could do for sale by owner on Zillow and just call them up, right? But look at some of these properties. Look at this. You don't think this is a wholesaler right here? $1. Doesn't tell you anything about the house. They just want you to reach out. This is a wholesaler. Great. Reach out to them. Reach out to them, have a conversation. Maybe they can't sell this property and you got buyers for it, right? Like, that's easy. That's easy money there. That's an easy deal. You work with these people to then send you the deals to be their dispo person because you've got a great cash buyer database. It's phenomenal. And sometimes it's the actual owner that puts the properties on here. Sometimes owners are just like, you know what? I don't want to sell it with an agent. I'm going to just put it on Facebook Marketplace and see what happens. Reach out to these people. DM them. Sometimes they have their phone number. Call them. And just tell them you are interested in this property. You'd love to have a conversation with them and get them on the phone. Right? And the last one, I love these. Estate sales. Listen to me. You can go and bounce around from estate sale to estate sale to estate sale. Or you could go in to these companies that have a brick and mortar office or just have a conversation with them and split the deals with estate sale people that are going into these properties. They're doing the estate sales. What happens is when somebody passes away or when somebody moves into assisted living, an estate sale company comes in and they literally like create like a store within that house and they sell all their stuff. Wouldn't that be awesome if every time that they did that, they asked them what they were doing with the property and then referred that over and you split the deal with them? I'm telling you, think a little bit different, right? Build the relationships with the estate sale companies. The estate sale companies are going into the exact product that you are looking for. So are they all going to work with you? No. Can you get 5 or 10 of them? Sure. Could you get one just unbelievable one that understands business, understands the potential? Absolutely. So there's 5 different ways that aren't just PropStream. It's not just batch leads. It's not just Deal Machine. These are 5 different ways that you could be proactive and start testing out these different lists, these different sources. And then just test it out and see where you're getting these deals. It's going to be unbelievable where you get them, right? And build those relationships so you start getting the referrals. Remember, in the beginning of this business, it's all proactive. It's all either marketing or it's all being proactive and reaching out and door knocking, calling, texting, whatever it is to find these opportunities. But then if you build a database of people that know, like, and trust you, they will send you deals. If you're getting loud on your social media and people know what you're looking for, people will start sending you deals. When you start helping out other wholesalers that are just getting started and they don't have a cash buyer database, they start bringing you deals. And that's how you make this business very, very, very profitable. And then with those profits for the business, that's when you go and you buy those assets. And you do that once you replace yourself in the business, right? You build this thing as a business. Let this business be a servant to you as opposed to you going out there and just doing everything yourself. But you have to earn that right. You have to earn that right by putting in the work up front, doing that first $20,000 deal, then doing that $20,000 a month, then a week, then every 3 days, and that's what it is. Net bottom line. Do you know you have to own $27 million in real estate, free and clear, to net $1 million after taxes? $1 million passive cash flow. I just showed you how to get $644,000 net after taxes by actually owning a business. Remember that cash flow quadrant? Employee, self-employed, right? Business owner, investor. The business owner one. Woo! Build the business. It's a cash machine. There's always going to be discounted property. There's always going to be opportunities to match up distressed sellers with motivated buyers, right? So just get in the middle. That's the game. Awesome. Welcome to the show. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. If you're getting value out of that, hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed if you are not already. And let's bring on my man. Cash flow is his mantra. It is Rafael Cortez. Rafael, what do you think? How'd we do?
I love it. I think my favorite one out of that whole stack, and I've been using it for years, we get really, really good results, is the code violations one. You have 1 star in there for a reason. I mean, it's hard to get. There's a lot of work that goes into it and whatnot, but there's some really, really fat, juicy deals on there.
So what's your approach? Help people out here, Raf. What do you go in? How do you get these people to actually open up and work with you?
You have to. It's all about relationships.
Yep.
I mean, we are marketing for properties, but at the end of the day, we're in the people business.
100%.
I remember doing things like not necessarily stalking somebody, borderline, maybe a little bit, but showing up. And I met this nice lady that I would get lists from, and she would want to help me out, right? But I knew that I needed to make it easy for her to help me out.
Yep.
So next time I went over there and I met her, like, hey, how are you? I brought you something. It was just a candy bar. Like something, something simple, something that builds that human connection. And at the end of the day, like that goes a long, long way. So little things like that, you're going to have to put in some legwork when it comes to getting lists like that. But not everybody, I mean, maybe 1% of the people out there are actually doing the work of going through that process. Then when you get those lists, sometimes they're in PDF formats and whatever. So it's more difficult, but that's why they work.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Build the relationship. Go in there and expect that they're going to be a little salty, a little bit standoffish. They're going to have their force fields up, but it's our job to bring those force fields down, right? It's our job to go in there and build those relationships and get those code violations. Go get that code violation list.
Yeah, another list that I like too, not everybody hits it, is a 60-day lates.
Get them. Tell me about it.
You can usually get those from title agencies.
Title company.
Yeah, if they're providing you lists.
Who should they talk to at the title company?
Do not talk to the escrow officer. Talk to the rep. Talk to the marketing rep. The escrow officer is going to say they don't have it because they just don't know. But talk to the person who's in charge of all the marketing and bringing clients to that title company. They're going to know. They're going to be able to hook you up with their resources and whatnot. 60-day lates is a pretty good list that they can provide for you. And what it is, it's people who they're not 90 days behind on the mortgage yet. They're 60 days behind. So they haven't gotten a notice for everybody to know that they're in pre-foreclosure yet, right? But they're well on that track. So they're two-thirds of the way there.
Love it.
It's a pretty good list.
Awesome. Let's crack this thing open, guys. This is a 2-hour-long live. It is all about participation. It is all about celebrating victories. It is all about answering whatever questions that you have, whatever you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a deal that you're wondering, is this, or a lead, and you're wondering, is this a deal or not a deal, right? Or if you're stumbling across, how do I do the lead follow-up? What do I say in these situations? We want to hear from you. That's what we're here for the next, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. So crack it open. If you have a comment, if you have some success that you want to share, if you have a question that you want answered, make sure you put it in the comments, and let's crack this wide open. Connor, how do you go about getting agents to include an assignment clause in the contract when presenting yourself as a cash buyer? Very easy. You tell them, I need this language in the contract. And if they ask you why, you can tell them. Well, whenever we lock up a property, once we lock up a property, we go through and we filter out based on 3 different buckets. One is a fix and flip, one is a buy and hold, and one is an assignment to another, to somebody else in our network. So we're not really sure what we're going to do with it until we get the property under contract. Then we get to work on it. Then we decide what our exit strategy is going to be. Does that make sense? Boom. That's it, Connor. Because that's what we do. I mean, it is beautifully honest, right? And really, that's your 3 options whenever you get an opportunity. Do you want to flip it? Do you want to close on it and flip it? Do you want to buy it and hold it? Or do you want to assign this? And as long as you have somebody that you can JV up with, anybody that has money in your market, and there's money, like cash buyers are a dime a dozen. Talk to any one of your cash buyers. Talk to anybody that's doing deals. Talk to anybody that is on Zillow and it's showing like a coming soon, and it's like a brand new built home, or it's a total remodel coming, whatever it is, or you see that it's listed and it's beautiful and it's staged, and there's not food in the pantry, and there's not soap at the sinks, and there's not clothes in the closet, right? They don't have any of those things. You know it's a flip. So talk to that agent, connect with somebody that has the money, or at least has 20%. Talk to a hard money lender in your market. They'll lend 80%, no doubt about it. And now you have the ability to close any deal that you run across. There's really no excuse. I mean, you could start this business with nothing. The most successful investors that I know don't use their own money. They just don't. So if the most successful people that have millions of dollars in the bank don't use their own money, why should you, right? Like why should that stop you from being confident going out there knowing that you could close that deal, right? That's the mentality that you have to go with. Because if you have the mentality of, I can't really buy this, I'm just hoping that I can lock this up and sell it to somebody else and this and this and this, it's going to erode over time. I'm telling you, your confidence is going to erode. You're going to feel like you're doing something wrong. You're going to feel like it's not, ethical, right? Have the ability to close the property. Have the ability to do that every time. And if you don't, have that conversation. This is what professionals do. This is what real business people do. They find money. That's what you do. That's like part of the whole thing. You know what I mean? And I don't care if you have no experience of it. I don't care if you're in the military. I don't care if you're driving a truck right now. I don't care if you're a nurse or a teacher or whatever else, and you don't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in your bank account. Somebody does. You're like 3 conversations away from it. You're 1 meetup group away from it. Right? I mean, it's all there right now, especially. So there you go, Connor. Second part, okay. Is there a way to get around it, or do I just need to find the right agent willing to work with a wholesaler? No, listen, you have 3 strategies. 3 strategies every time, Connor, right? And that's all they need to know. Your exit strategy is your business strategy. You're not going to go and show them your operating agreement on your LLC every time that you go and do a deal, right? You're not going to show them you're not going to go and break down every single strategy. Just put it in there as that's one of our exit strategies out of 3. I'm not sure what we're going to do with it, but I know that we'll get this deal closed. There you go. And if they still fight you on it and it's a smoking deal, then remove it and close the deal. Double close it or double escrow it. Easy peasy, baby. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Brent, there's also one thing that I want, and I don't know if you tackled this yet or not, but there's a new regulation in Arizona.
Yep.
That just creeped in. Did you talk about that yet or no?
We haven't. I mean, it's something that we've had in our contract for 7 years. But you have to disclose that you're an investor, that you're making a profit, that you have the ability to wholesale the property, that you're a wholesale buyer. Yeah, the whole disclosure. We've had it on the contract that I've put out for years.
Yeah, I see a lot of people trying to get around the fact that they're wholesalers. It's crazy. It's in Arizona now, but it's going to get to a lot of places soon. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Well, it's interesting that they're going with disclosure over licensing.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be way more. You got to get a license to do this business, and it's like, no, you just have to disclose.
Just let people know.
Doesn't that tell you something though? That a state legislature looks at it and goes, well, we don't consider this licensed activity. They're represented as a buyer, and then if they lock this up, they have equitable interest in it.
Right.
And so you just have to disclose that you have a different exit strategy. It's beautiful. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy for it.
Doing it, also doing it on both sides, which, I mean, it's kind of rhetorical on the buyer side, but still gotta, if you don't have it in your clauses in there, work it in there, look at the verbiage, especially if you're doing stuff in Arizona. And it's just good practice, right? To have it in there, to have it disclosed, and it's part of your template. So
yeah,
putting that out there.
Jason, all right, my man. I got a property under contract in Indianapolis, virtually with a potential profit of $15,000 for my first deal. Congratulations,
Boom.
Jason. Here we go. Yes. Whoop. There we go. Jason, congratulations. That is amazing. $15,000 for your first deal. Carlos, got my call scheduled up for tomorrow to sign up for TTP. Welcome, Carlos. Let's ring that bell. Let's go, Carlos. That is amazing. I look forward to working with you personally and talking to you tomorrow. Carlos, that is amazing. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's awesome. B.A. Gardner, I'm using it for pre-foreclosure. Is there a first part of this? I'm using it for pre-foreclosure leads, but 9 out of 10 people say their situation is resolved. Is this because public records aren't being updated? Is there another pre-foreclosure service that is better? I don't know the first part of that, BA. Maybe we're missing that. But if
He
it...
was talking about one of your pre-foreclosure lists that you recommended. But I'll find it.
I don't... Yeah, if it's PropStream or if it's batch leads. Yeah, here's the thing. Like... It takes a long process, BA, for them to actually get it done. See, what people say is they've talked to their bank, they're going to do a loan modification, and that's what's going to help them out. But it takes, 30, 60 days to kind of process before they turn off the notice of foreclosure. So they're going to keep that on there to make sure that that property owner's signing all the right documents and agreeing to the right terms. And if they don't, they'll foreclose. But listen, they will always tell you that until the last month. Seriously. They will always tell you that until like the last month, maybe even the last 2 weeks. Rafael, how many deals have you done to save and had to postpone a pre-foreclosure because you locked it up like a week or two out?
Oh, dude,
All of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, a good 90% of them are there.
Yeah.
And they'll, even if they show interest early on, they will, wait until the last minute, even if there's no other outcome for them to come in. And then we have to come in and then do an extension and that sort of thing. But,
Yep.
But yeah, it's they always take it to the red line.
Yeah, any lists are going to be behind because the all of the public records are going to be behind. They're not going to know the individual situation. It's not like as soon as somebody talks to their bank for a loan modification, there's a notice that goes out that they're not that they are taking care of it. But everybody says that. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm getting a loan modification or I'm paying it off or whatever else. Just stay in front of them, Okay, that's fantastic. I was so glad to hear that you've got it taken care of. I'll just check in just to make sure that everything goes smooth and the bank's treating you fair. Okay, is that fair enough? Okay, great. MJJ Smooth Criminal, Brent, how do you do a double close with no money down or transactional funding? You borrow the money. I mean, you got to find the money somehow. And it just depends on if you want to do a double close or double escrow. So let's break this down real quick, okay? And I'm going to put it on the board here if we can switch this over. Is my mic good? You good here? Okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do a double close real quick. Double close. All right? This is, you've got a purchase contract between the seller and you. All right? There you are. You're powerful. Look at you. Boom. Awesome. There's you.
Got the
Okay?
biceps.
And then, I know, everybody in the show. And then you do a purchase contract between you here, right, and your cash buyer. All right? Now, in a double close, which is going to be the most commonly accepted version of this, most title companies will do this, is when you actually find the funds, you have to bring in the funds to fund this purchase. And then this cash buyer will pay on this deal, right? we'll pay this deal, but you have to come up with the funds to fund this one. All right, that is a double close. A double escrow is a little bit different. Double escrow is a lot easier. So you got to find a title company that'll do a double escrow.
I think that's what he's talking about too.
Is it? Yeah. So, and maybe this is what you're talking about, but this one is fantastic because you got the purchase contract between the seller and you, right? Boom, boom, boom. Biceps looking swole. Yes, smiling. You're making money, right? You got the purchase contract between you and the seller, you and the cash buyer, and the funds from this cash buyer actually pay this one and pay this one. So it's a pass-through. So when they go to sign all their closing documents for this deal, this escrow, sorry to put my back to you guys, but it's kind of hard to do this the other way. But then it goes, these funds actually go here. There's going to be a disclosure here that the seller is going to get from the title company that says, hey, listen, they sold this property to somebody else. They're using the funds to pay off this. And they're going to know that at the closing. They will disclose it to them. Hey, listen, they sold it to somebody else. They're using the funds there to pay for this. I've never had a problem with it with a seller. But if you have one of those old school, old tired landlords, you got one of those, kind of grumpier situations with a seller, just double close it, then double escrow because they could maybe, get pissed off at the closing that you already sold it and you're making a profit or whatever. But most of the time, it just doesn't affect them. They're really cool about it. Okay? But great question. I've been getting that a lot because, listen, you do a double close or double escrow in areas that you need a license. It's not a wholesale. You didn't assign it. It's a flip. Remember, 3 buckets, right? Flip, buy and hold, assign. That's it. That's how you do it in real estate. There's 3 buckets. So in this, it's a flip. And somebody asked me, I get this question a lot. Well, if it's a flip, does that mean short-term capital gains? Yes. But guess what? You're a real estate company. So talk to your CPA. It's cost of doing business. But talk to your CPA. Hashtag. Do you have that hashtag? Anyway. For a double escrow, Brian, for a double escrow, you technically sell your contract to the end buyer as an assignment fee. No. In a double escrow, you have a purchase contract and a purchase. There are no assignment contracts. There's no assignment paperwork. You literally are the seller on that second purchase contract, and they're the buyer. Okay? And then from there, boom, they pay that, and their money goes in to paying your agreement, your purchase contract with the seller. Cool? Great questions, guys. And listen, people are like, oh, I can't assign. We're not going to be able to assign. We're not. Great. You know what the worst case scenario is? It costs you $2,000 to $3,000 more a deal. And you want to double your assignment fees? We should have a whole show on that. You want to double your assignment fees? Cash buyer database. Build it. Grow it. Stop being a cash buyer employee. Right? A CBE. And when we start out, we have like 5 or 10 cash buyers that were like, oh, they treat me so well, and oh, it's so smooth, and oh, it's guaranteed, and this is all wonderful. And then all of a sudden, they want all of your deals, and they want discounts because they didn't make as much as they thought they would in the last one. So, bro, like, hook me up. Stop it. That's not the business you're in. All of a sudden, you got out of your 9 to 5 to now have another 9 to 5 working for your cash buyer? No way, brother. No way. Awesome. I've been a Rhino for 3 years. Griffin, yes. Old school. I just locked up an estate deal. What are we talking about? Were we just talking about estate sales? Were we just talking about it, Matt? I love when you smile like that. And with 2 properties for a total of $195K. Each property comped out at $225K. So that's $450,000 worth of properties that he got for $195,000. That's less than 50% on the dollar. 50 cents on the dollar. You can't get deals like that, can you, Riff? You can't get deals like that. Griffin Acquisitions can, though.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's a very good deal to get an estate sale. I mean, yeah, you're buying the house for
Smoking
pennies on a
deal.
dollar. I wonder how he came across that.
Yeah, Griffin, let us know. How'd you get
Yeah.
that? Was it a call? Was it old school mailers from Wholesaling Inc.? Was it a pay-per-click? Was it a referral? Like, hook us up a little bit. Ugly houses, big checks. Daniel just texted me. It's in my phone. Will you pull that up, Alejandra? What did he make? He just made over 45. He did a deal. Daniel just texted me a TTP. 45,105. It was a $90,000 deal that he JV'd, and he's got another one closing. Daniel, and what did he say?
And I close my flip Friday. Profit will be 70,000.
70,000 on a flip. He closes it Friday. Are you kidding me? Ugly houses, big checks. That's the mantra, baby. Ugly houses, big checks. You can have all that cash flow, all that real passive cash flow, by owning an incredible business that sources discounted properties. Let's ring that bell for Dan. Come on. I love it. I love it. Congratulations, brother. I'm so happy for you. We celebrate you. That is amazing. That's too big. I mean, 90 and 70,000. Boom, two deals. Two deals. I was talking about that whole example I gave at the beginning was $20,000 deals. We average $50,000 a deal. How's your year this year? What's your average?
We're at 38.
38,000.
38 average.
Daniel's got two deals for $160,000. He's at $80,000 a deal.
Yeah.
Look at that maniac. There you go. Samuel, hey, Brent, my team and I are having the problem of deals we have in the pipeline taking way longer to come to completion than they should. How do we push those deals through to close? You have to remove all barriers for them to make the decision. Now, listen, there are going to be, you have to understand, is it a barrier or is it a condition? If it's a condition, you're not going to be able to make it faster, right? If the probate's going to take longer, if they will not sell until their tenant's out, if they have to be in town to make the decision to feel comfortable and they have to meet you to trust you, whatever it is, if there's a condition that they literally will not sell, then you have to understand that if it's obstacles, if it's hurdles, that's a different story. Right? If it's these things that are like, well, we need to clear it out, or I want to sell it when the tenant's out, or, what's another one? I have, somebody living in there squatting. You take care of all those. If I could take care of all those things, would you consider selling sooner? If I could, if I could take that all off your hands, if you didn't have to worry about it, if I hired you movers, if I hired you a contractor, if I started an eviction process, if I went and spoke to your tenants, if I did all these things and made this simpler for you, would you consider selling it sooner? Right? This is what we do. As a professional courtesy, we go out and we handle all of those things. That's why the price that we offer is the price that we offer you, is because this is hands off. This is you turning in your car to the dealership and driving away with a new car and not worrying about that old car ever again, right? That's the mentality. You want to be able to solve all those problems and make it, the speed and convenience the big juicy thing that makes them to make the decision. Make the decision. Wow. That came out weird. Anyway, that's what you do. That's what you do to shorten that timeline. Just solve all those hurdles, solve all those obstacles. That's how you do it, right? And then really pull out what's their motivation. What is magic about selling it in July? Well, that's just when we thought we would sell it. Well, if I can get you what you wanted now, would that work for you? Right? If then questions. If you don't sell it, then what happens to this property? Right? There you go. Go ahead, Ref.
When he's
Hit
talking
him
about
with
the
it.
pipeline, Samuel, when you're talking about the pipeline, are you talking about stuff that you already locked up and then your process is being delayed for some reason? I mean, I'm wondering that. I don't know if you can throw it in the comments. Because if that's a problem and you have a couple of people with you, I mean, maybe an accountability issue or just a relationship building with the title companies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good question.
yeah.
Is it stuff that you have locked up, or is it stuff that you're working on? Is it a lead or is it a deal already? Yeah, let us know. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's IG doing? Are we
White
connected?
Wolf.
Are they seeing all the
Sam.
different angles? Is that all happening?
Wait, we're getting
Awesome.
angles on IG?
Yeah.
They're seeing your pretty.
They can see you
Are
for
you
the
getting my
first
good
time.
side?
Primal Eskimo, how should we condition the seller to see if they are ready for the next offer appointment? Do you mean that they have multiple properties? Or are you just saying for your... I'm going to answer it assuming, Primal, that you mean that for your actual offer presentation, right? You need to get advanced agreements. If we agree... Before I come out, I just wanted to just go through everything that we talked about. You said the house is this condition. You said that you wanted around this price. You said you wanted to get it closed here. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay, great. So if we can agree on the price and terms, are you comfortable moving forward when I come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock? Right? Or you can ask an open-ended question. Is there anything stopping you from moving forward? Right? What would stop you from moving forward? That's a better question. What would stop you from moving forward? When I come out tomorrow, and we agree on price, we agree on terms, you like working with me, what would stop you from moving forward? And you're waiting for that. Nothing. Nothing would stop me. The old Hulk Hogan, right? You know what? Nothing will stop you. So that's the question. You want to get those advanced agreements. Are all the decision makers, you want to make sure everybody that's a decision maker is there. You want to make sure that you understand anything that would stop them from moving forward. Is there anything, what would stop us from moving forward when I come out? Ask that question. You know, if we agree on, if the price and the terms look good to you, what would stop us from moving forward tomorrow? Great question. There you go. There you go, Promo. And I assume that's what you mean on next offer appointment. Right.
That sounds like a teeing up for the actual conversation type deal. And you got the one of the most important things is to make sure that everybody who needs to sign is there. So
yeah,
it's a big thing.
Awesome.
I sent a comment. I don't know what's happening.
There it is.
Same one.
It's the same one.
Steve, Brent, I'm qualifying a lead. 3 of 4 conditions are good, but seller wants higher price. Yeah. Do I bring price down on initial call or during follow-up? What are the strategies to use? Yeah, it just depends. Why do they want to sell and what's their timeline? Is there an actual, have they made the decision that they're going to sign a document, a warranty deed, or whatever it is in your state? Are they going to sign that document that says that I am transferring ownership to somebody else? And then it's just logic at that. It's just numbers at this point, right? You can go, well, listen, you know, do you understand how we evaluate properties? Oh, I don't know. Okay, let me tell you. So we look at what's selling in the neighborhood. We look at what condition they are compared to your property, and that's how we base our numbers on what we can afford to pay for it based on the condition. Obviously, the repair costs are very important, and there's a lot of sales costs involved, and obviously we need to make a profit. So it looks like, you know, based on what your neighbors are selling for, we're going to be around this price. Is that something that you would consider, right? Now, if their price is just bananas and they're just not, and it's not anywhere in even close, then you could say, listen, you know, the best option for you is to list it on the market and see what the market would give you. You know, expose it to as many buyers as you can. I've got a great agent. If you need a referral, here's the agent, here's the referral, and put it on the market and see what you can get. But usually they don't. Usually when people want way more than their property's worth, they're not really serious. They don't want to trade a speed and convenience for price. So, boop, stay in front of them. I mean, just stay in front of them, but constantly be adding new leads, right? That's awesome that you got all 3 of those, and just unless the condition is good, you know. And I think what you mean is the 4 pillars, the 3 out of the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying. You want to put that up, Matt? I know that you've got it on that button there. Boom. Property condition, timeline, motivation, and price. And I want you see that little arrow down there? That's how I want you to start. People are more comfortable talking about the condition and timeline than they will their motivation and price. And typically when you get the condition and you get their timeline, you understand their motivation. And then there, it's just going and showing. And if you have to, if they're like an analytical or there's just somebody, go and bring them the comps. Here's the comparables that I see. Here's the ones that are totally fixed up. Here's the ones that have sold that are in similar condition. Here's the average budget that I have in here. Here's the profit that we expect to make. It's at least 10%. And then here's all our closing costs and fees and all these other things. And if they still don't do it, then you're not working with somebody that wants your service. We are a service business, right? Like, if they don't want it, they don't want it. So refer it out. That's fantastic. Or you can get creative. You can flip it on them. You know, some people are doing novations. I think it's a little bit trickier, and I wouldn't mess with it if you're new. We've been playing around with it in our business, but honestly, my acquisition managers, Ryan and Chad, and I'll bring Ryan in once a month because he's just phenomenal. He's like, it just doesn't, nobody, in a hot market like this, people don't want it. So I think it's kind of rural areas that novations are working, but maybe not. Jason Lamb, how do you approach a seller that has month-to-month tenants the same way? That's perfect. That's perfect. Because if they're month-to-month, it's better than a long-term lease. So if they're month-to-month, and that's most of them, that's what you're going to run into, Jason. Most of the time, it's going to be month-to-month. What do you do, Raf?
Yeah, people usually wait until the long-term lease expires to sell the properties. That's what we see a lot in tenancy. But we treat the tenants like the sellers. We figure out what their problem is. If they're on a month-to-month, that we wouldn't have issues by the time it comes to moving out. So you're kind of solving two problems from my perspective. One is the seller's problem, and then the second one is going to be the tenants, right? Like, what do they need to do? Sometimes they can be a headache. If they don't move out, so you try the regular route first, and then if you have to come and be creative on how to get them out of there to clear out the property, that's one thing that the seller, I guarantee you, doesn't want to deal with for the most part.
Yeah. Let me take over. Let me have a conversation with the tenant. Let them know that I'm buying the property, and I'll work it out with them. I'll help them move on to the next one, because that's really what some of the concern are. You're going to run into a lot of sellers that are like, I just don't. I really feel bad for my tenant. They've lived there a long time. They've done this and that. But the fact is, if they want to cash out, if they made the decision to sell, somebody has to tell the tenant. And tenants have to understand, you don't own this. So if you don't own this, you are subject to somebody selling this at any time. Now, if you have a long-term lease, Landlord-Tenant Act is in place to protect that tenant until the lease is over. But if it's month to month, the lease is over that at the end of the month. And that's what most people that we run into, Jason, is they were on a long-term lease, and then they went month to month for the last 5 years, 10 years, 2 years. So we love those. And honestly, the month to month tenants almost expect this to happen at some point.
One thing that you can do, Jason, is help the seller with the timelines. Just make sure that you let them know that they have to give a 30-day notice. A lot of tenants, surprisingly, they don't know this, but do the 30-day notice kind of deal. Make sure they delivered it and whatnot. So kind of staying on top of that timeline is one way to help them. Just be accountable for what needs to happen too. So keep that in mind.
Nice. You reading any good books right now?
Right. I'm always reading good books. Which one was the last one I read? Actually, it was marketing books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read this one, which is a good one. This was suggested by Tim Bratz, right? The 12 Pillars. Real. I mean, this is an hour read, right?
Yeah,
real quick.
I read that a long time ago,
right? That was a good one.
The Gardener guy.
Did a reading a couple other ones that are just phenomenal books. Yeah, just curious to see what you're reading right now. How many months back on the code list? Go as far back as you can. I mean, get as big of a list as you can, Paul. Like, whatever they'll give you, go for it. If they have code violations, it's not like the first time. Or it's not like, and if it is, call them anyway. Like, it's not going to be a gigantic list. And with the technology and the resources that we have and the dialers that we use, you can go through that list fast, right? These small little niche ones are going to bring you big deals because, one, not a lot of people are going after them, but two, they're small. You can really focus on them, right? So go as far back as you can. Yeah. That's a good question, though. Code violation list. How many comps do you use to find the ARV of a property? It depends. Usually I'm looking for what's the highest sale in the neighborhood, and I'll base it off of that. I just need one because it's just showing me what buyers in that neighborhood are willing to buy. Typically, if you're looking at a traditional appraisal, there's going to be 3 main subject properties, and then they're going to do 2 or 3 kind of secondary properties. And they start in the neighborhood first, and then they go, not crossing any major streets, and then they'll go a mile out if they have to. Now, if it's real rural, then they'll expand it further and further and further. But if you're in the city, it's a lot easier to find those comps in there. So me personally, I look for one, and I'm like, okay, great. Here's this one went for $300,000. It's in great shape. Boom, I'm going to use my numbers off of that. Steve, what 2 software programs do you like to use to run comps and why? Batch Leads and PropStream. I think that they're phenomenal and they do a really, really good job. But you can listen to me. If you are just starting out and you don't have a big budget, Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com. Like, use those, Realtor.com, Zillow, and Redfin. Get their 3 estimates on there and add them up, divide by 3. There's your average number. And then use this calculation. Matt, hit me with it real quick. The 6650, 25%. It makes it super easy. Like, yeah. I think people are overthinking comps way too much. I really do. And I understand why, because deal or no deal is like the scariest thing ever. And you really just want to understand, what the comparables are. But there's literally like 3 websites that give you an estimate of what the property's worth based on calculations that are pulling from certain areas. And they got an algorithm and the whole thing. So here you go. If this estimate is $250,000 or more, offer 66% to the seller. If it's between $250,000 and $100,000, 50%. If it's under $100,000, 25%. Okay, and that might be even lower. When you get into those lower price points, guys, you got to get them for basically nothing. Stop messing around. And I highly suggest you go after properties that are worth $150,000 or more. I don't care what market you're in. You will find them. You will find areas that you can go $150,000 or more because we average 10%. That's the average around the country. 10% of the market. 10% of the price is typically what our assignment fee is going to be. And if the property's worth $50,000, it's $5,000. If it's worth $500,000, it's $50,000. Same amount of work, probably less work for the bigger deals. Yep. Sandra, I heard Pace say PropStream removed the MLS comp data. They removed the sales, the actual closed MLS data. And I believe they're working on that. I feel like Texas is like picking up on that. They had a lot more estimates on it. So I think they're coming back. The Deal Machine actually has the sold data. They haven't really been loud about it because they've got the data in, but it's kind of tricky to do it. So you get in there and if you go to comps in Deal Machine, they give you that data as well. Gary Jones just closed in a wholesale assignment deal on the 6th of this month for $31,500 and currently have a land deal flip that I closed for $170,000, sold under contract on the MLS for $300,000. Let's go, Rhino. Holy cow. That's $161,500, 2 deals. Come on. Come on, Gary. That is bananas. Gary's not messing around. No, that's a powerful name, too. Gary Jones. I like that. It sounds like
Indiana's brother.
Yeah. It sounds like
cool
somebody like a great author, like a Michael Crichton would write that name. That's awesome. All right. Questions on 6650 25% quick offer formula. Is repairs, investor profit, and the wholesaler's field factor in, or is it separate? Yes. Yeah, typically if you can get the seller to get in there, then you can build it in. Now, obviously, if the property's completely destroyed, you're going to have to kind of mess around with those numbers. But for the most part, that'll work out. Yeah. And if it's like If you go in and it's a $500,000 house and you're at that 330, you're going to make some money there, right? I mean, as long as it's not like a gigantic house, that's the other thing. If it's a big house, the budget for it's going to be way bigger. So make sure that you're really factoring that in. But for the most part, that'll work out. Yep. Yeah, it's all factored in there. Then you lock it up at 66, and then you sell it for more when you put it out there.
Hey, Brent, before we jump into the next one, I felt like
Yes,
I
sir.
half-assed answered your book question, but the last book on really good that wasn't about marketing.
I threw it out of
and stuff
nowhere,
like
so.
that, I read that was really good or reread was The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer.
Awesome.
It's a really good book.
Powerful book. Powerful book. Yep. Awesome. Where'd that question go?
Oh, that was the new one. Sorry.
I have a seller who wants to sell 2 vacant lots. Awesome. She's asking $200,000, and the value is about $60K, based on 2 constructions in the area. How do I approach her and let her know that she's asking too much? What's her motivation? Why does she want to sell the lots? What's her timeline? Is it I get $200,000 or nothing? Like if it's $200,000, then that's just a convenience sell. They're just trying to squeeze out everything because they understand how hot the market is. But if you go, well, houses in your neighborhood are selling for $300,000. So if it's $100,000 for this lot and it costs $150 a square foot to build a house, you can't really build the house and buy the lots at this price and make it a profit or come in with equity. So who's like your perfect buyer? Are you just looking for somebody that's like wants to give you $100,000 for a lot and just sit on it? Are you looking for like somebody that is hoping in the future that all the values here go up? Just have these conversations. You know what I mean? Listen, you're not going to convince people. You can only give them the facts and tell them what you're willing to offer. That's great. If she wants $200,000 and it's worth $60,000, that means each lot's worth $30,000, right? You go in and say, well, I can only give you $40,000 for these lots. Is that something you would consider? No, $200K or bust. Okay, great. Have you thought about putting them on the market? Do you know that there's people that put their homes that put properties on the market and they stay on the market for like 3 years? There's actual people that do this. They put it out at some ridiculous price, and it just sits, lots especially, land especially. They're just waiting for something to happen, some miraculous event. We're not in the miraculous event business, right? We're in the speed and convenience business. So what's the timeline? If they have to sell it because they can't pay the property taxes, that's different. If they have to sell it because they want to put their money into some other investment, that's something different. If they just want $200K and they're willing to sit on it forever, get rid of them. Trash can, boom, boop. Trash can lead. See ya. Moving on. Okay? And the beautiful thing is if you're constantly out there having good quality conversations with either agents, wholesalers, or direct to seller, you're going to have so many opportunities that this one isn't even going to be a blip on the radar, right? Hit them with it and then move on because you got 15 other people that you actually have to see if you can help serve. If they don't want your service, they don't want your service. Okay?
2 things.
Yeah.
I like what he's doing there with the name. You know that dinero, it translates to money in Spanish?
Yeah.
Dinero, yeah. All right, so
Dinero.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dinero, yeah. All right, that's pretty cool. I like it. And then number 2, I think we have around 300 viewers right now. If we can get it to 200 likes, Brian, I think we should start giving out some shirts, sending
Let's
out some
do it.
swag, getting people excited.
How many
about
likes do we
these
have right
things.
now?
Come on, get engaged, people.
126? We need how many shirts should we give out,
That's
Raph?
easy.
How many shirts?
Come on.
You want to give out 1? 2? 2
Let's go
shirts.
3.
Alejandra's the boss here. She says 2.
She's
Because
gonna send
Alejandra
them out,
has to
so-
send these out.
Yeah, and I sent out a lot.
And Alejandra sends them out all day. We send a nice box. Can you give me one of those boxes that they'll get it in? We'll get everybody excited. This will be good.
Let's
No,
do
you got them in the office that are actually made out, right? Yeah. We'll show that. Guys, thank you so much for the support. Holy cow, 300 people live, 126 likes. That is incredible. You guys are absolutely incredible. I'm so happy. Like, this doesn't, like, We are nothing. You guys are everything. You guys are the heroes of this thing. We're just here to like be a part of this community. We love this community. It's like so wonderful that we have so much support and so many people getting together. And I'm sure they're squatting up in the comments. If you're not, guys, make sure that you put where you do business, where you're at. You know, if you're just getting new or if you're experienced, if you got a good cash buyer database or if you don't. We get to 200 likes. Two people are getting this box right here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. There it is. We'll give you the whole thing. What's in this thing? We'll give you the whole thing. We'll give you the hat. We'll give you the tracker, the lead sheet. We'll give you the shirt. Boom. Awesome. Sorry, Alejandro, I screwed this up for you.
Every time you say tracker, I think of like a GPS injection that
That's
goes
right.
in your arm. Yeah,
That's right. Listen,
that's for accountability.
what you track
purposes.
it can be improved, right? That's exactly how I want people to think of this. And this thing is.
This thing is going up high.
This thing is the bomb.
go.
Look at this thing.
Nice.
This thing is incredible. I feel like I'm on QVC right now. Now look at this. Look at this binding. A fantastic 18 ring binder here with different things. Yeah.
Sturdy,
No, but
industrial
love
looking
it.
rings.
Well, these shirts, yes, they make you look so huge. These are next
Your
level.
friends will love
Next,
it.
they're literally next level. That's the name of the brand. Next level. They're a tri-blend. Okay, these are flexible. These don't fade. These stick around. I'm telling you. These are fantastic. And I'll tell you this, and I tell this to all of my TTP coaching students. You wear this shirt to a meetup, you wear this shirt to a RIA, you wear this shirt out and about, and people will recognize it, and people will talk to you, and people will understand you're one of those proactive people that are out there, and then all of a sudden it opens the door, and you're not necessarily, even if you're a little bit shy or you know not very experienced with networking, boom. Yeah. Kurt's just going. He's just doing them. I love it. I love it. That's incredible. But yeah, the shirt really opens up doors. I really think. I mean, it does. Anyway, Steve, did you pick a name for the show yet? If not, I like the Wholesale Community Show. Ooh, okay, Steve. Okay, we have not picked it. You know, we had a few. Some people are saying Wholesaling Wednesdays, but a Wholesale Community Show. We're getting there. It might be a little long, but we're getting it. Ugly Houses, Big Checks. Yeah, that should be the name of the show.
Literally,
Right? Hey, if you like Ugly Houses, Big Checks for the name of the show, let us know. I love that. I love the community show. I think that really embodies it. Maybe that'll be like the Ugly Houses, Big Checks, the Wholesale Community Show. There you go. awesome. Ugly Houses Big Check Show. There we go. I'm telling you guys.
Big checks.
What do we got? We got some big checks. Oh, one-ton Patriot. Does rent control in California affect single-family homes? Yes. I have a property with a long-term tenant, but buyers are saying rent control won't allow them to raise rent enough. Yeah. Her rent is way below market rate, and she's okay with her rent going up to stay in the house, but due to California laws, buyers are saying that it can't be raised enough. Yeah. Listen, you have to understand rent control is there for a reason. And for investors, it's like our kryptonite, because literally it's like the government coming in and like just being like, you know, big brother and being all over it. But rent control is there for a reason, and I respect it on the level of this. If everybody wants to live in a certain area, or there's a lot of industry in a lot of area, there's a lot of jobs. First of all, if there's a lot of economy in an area, there's a lot of high-paying jobs, or a lot of business people are making a lot of money, right? So they want to live closer to where they live, and then all of a sudden it kind of pushes everybody else out that doesn't have the income to buy these houses. I was just in Hollywood a couple of weeks ago for the Dave Chappelle show, and it's like you're driving around, and I just popped up Zillow because I was interested, and it's like $2 million for a 1,400 square foot house. And I was like, what the heck? This is crazy. Like, rent control, what it does is it makes sure that the people that actually like provide value and service and clean the streets and provide safety, and they work in the jobs, and they prepare food, or they whatever jobs that aren't like these big income jobs can live close, because they can't afford to drive around all the time. They can't afford to be in traffic all the time. They can't afford to keep up with everybody else that's making way more than them. So rent control's dope in some sense, but it's kind of our kryptonite. So I get both sides of it. If you can't raise it enough, you can't raise it enough. And that'll affect the values of those properties, for sure. For sure. So I don't know. You're going to have to find One Ton Patriot and anybody what it means. Like, is it rent control just for that tenant? And if that tenant moves out, then they can sell it for whatever and rent it for different? Or is that property in rent control for a certain amount of time and it can only increase? I have no idea. You'd have to dig into that. That's above. We don't have much of that in Arizona.
Ugly houses, big trucks.
Matt just cracked the joke. Ugly houses, big trucks. Boom. Nathan, what are some questions to ask when you're at an appointment? 2 questions, Nathan. And this is Ryan Thornton, 101. That's my acquisition manager. He is my closer. They're creeping on $1 million already this year. He's absolutely phenomenal. Him and Chad, the tag team. Chad is my junior acquisition manager. He goes in with 2 questions, and usually they already have it because, well, let me answer your question, then I'm gonna lead up to it. 2 questions. What's your goal? What's your goal with the property? Great open-ended question. And the second question, how much research have you done? Right? Those are fantastic. Now, on the appointment, you need to make sure, Nathan, that you are pre-qualifying before you get there. You need to know the condition of the property, just based on what they're telling you, their timeline, when do they want their money, have they actually made that decision, the motivation, what's their problem that you can solve, and their price. Right? Those are the 4 things that you want to pull out before you ever go in that appointment. Well, they won't give me the price, Brent. I've asked them 100 times. I've asked them 7 different ways. They won't give them a price. Great. Well, it looks like, and I'm just doing some rough research here, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. It looks like your neighbors in similar conditions, similar size, have sold for $170,000. Is that kind of the price you were looking for? Are you kidding me? I wouldn't take $1 less than $400,000. Oh, okay. Then you know what's going on there, and then you decide if you want to go in that appointment. If they go, yes, yeah, that's in the ballpark. And so if I can get you 170, would you consider that? This is all phone work. Now, if you want to go in the appointment to do all this stuff, that's fine, but I would highly suggest that you get on the phone and do this unless they're really tough to get a hold of or they just don't want to do anything on the phone. They're just kind of putting the ball in their own court, and they're like, you come here, you check out the house, and then you give me a bid. That's great. Before I come out, can you tell me about the condition of the property? And as they're telling you the condition of the property and they're going and doing that, if they go, no, you just come out and see it, then fine. If it's close, if it's not, whatever, you got to make that decision if you want to go out there. If not, you can always flip it around. Yeah, I'd love to come out, answer the question, then go with the question. I'd love to come out, but I just don't want to waste your time, and I just want to make sure that the price and terms are going to line up before I come out there and waste your time. So if you can at least let me know if have you done any remodeling to the kitchen and baths in the last 5 years? No, you just come out and see it. Damn it. That's probably not going to be your deal, right? Then you have to make the decision if you want to deal with this person, work with this person, or not. So, condition, timeline, motivation, price. Remember, there's 3 sections, right, in the business. Lead generation, conversion of those leads into an agreement, and exit strategy. Each one of those have 3 parts. In the conversion part, which we're talking about here, Nathan, there's 3 parts, right? There's pre-qualifying, there's lead follow-up, and then there's the offer presentation. That pre-qualify should get you pretty close. The presentation should be a natural ending to your pre-qualifying them and getting the contract signed. You should be going there with the intention to get the contract signed. When I come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock, what would stop us from moving forward? If we agree on the price and terms, what would stop us from moving forward? I need my attorney to review it. Fantastic. Can I talk to them? Can I send them the offer directly so they already have it so they can start the ball rolling? I need my agent to look at it. Fantastic. Can you have your agent there when I present my offer? Like go be like confident. If they're at that point where they want the speed and convenience and they have a rough looking house, go with confidence that you're the buyer. You determine value. Everybody understand this and really sink it into your brain. Like make this like that like strong little person in your brain that's like, yeah, that just screams at you when you get pumped up and you're energized, right? It's like buyers determine value on everything. Buyers. We're the ones with the money. We're the ones with the people that have the money, right? We're the ones doing this stuff. Nobody can sell a property without a buyer. We're in control. It doesn't matter what the market says. Doesn't matter if it's a seller's market. Now, it could be that you're competing against more buyers and somebody else is willing to pay more than you, but the buyers determine the value. So if you go in there and you say it's worth to me $110,000, that's what it's worth to you. Be confident in that. You control it. You control the value. All right? There you go. What do you do if the seller wants to sell but doesn't want to provide the interior to not disturb the tenant? Then you have to have a couple different things. There is a drop down sight unseen price. And that's what I would tell them. You know, usually we go in, we take a look at the property and we determine the value, and that's how we can get you the most. But if we can't get in and really determine what needs to be done to the property, I have to give you a sight unseen value. And I don't want you to be mad at me, because I think you're going to be mad at me when I tell you what price I can do sight unseen, because it's going to be less than what I can do if I can get into the property. So do you think there's any way that we can get into the property and just check that out? I work with tenants all the time. I communicate as a professional courtesy. I go in there and I make sure that I don't freak them out and I don't get them all worried. I just go in and let them know what's going on if you want me to, and we take some pictures and we're out, right? Because at some point you're going to have to talk to them, right? Or have me talk to them, right? I mean, at some point. Well, I don't want anybody talking to them sight unseen. Okay, great. Here's the sight unseen price. Right? And if it works, it works. But if they want full retail and they're not letting you in and they don't want to disturb the tenants, they're not real motivated sellers. They're not. And the way that you find that is timeline, right? If you don't sell this property, if you can't get somebody in, what are you going to do with the property? If somebody's not going to give you the price that you want, sight unseen, what's your plans with the property? I'm just curious. Boom. There you go, Jasper. Great question. Are we at that 200?
No, we're like 9 more.
191. 9 more likes. What are some tips for virtual appointments over the phone when doing the offer? If the best, Zoom. For real. As a professional courtesy, what we do is I set up, I'll send you a Zoom link and I'll pull up the contract. We'll go through the contract and you can sign it right there. And if you have any questions, I can answer it. I'll send it to you in a DocuSign email. I'll go through it. You hit the buttons in the DocuSign to initial and sign, or just sign, depends on your contract, and we'll be done. And a professional courtesy, that's just to answer all your questions. Because what happens is you send an offer to somebody's email, and then the hope comes in. Oh, please. Oh, I hope they sign. Oh, I hope they sign soon. And then you're checking it, going on Doc. I used to do that, right? You check DocuSign. Have they seen it? Oh, they've opened it.
2 days later.
They've opened it. Wait, they've opened it and they haven't signed it? What is going on here? This is crazy. Wait. Let me text.
Probably
them. Let me
couldn't
text.
figure it out.
Do you have any questions about the contract? And then they don't respond. And then you're like, oh no, this deal is right there. It's in my hands. What is happening? And then you call them. They don't answer. No, as a professional courtesy, what I'd like to do is set an appointment, and we get on a Zoom call. We go through the purchase agreement, not contract. I've said contract in there just because I've been in real estate too long. Anyway, purchase agreement, and then. If everything makes sense to you, we'll just sign it right there. Does that sound good? Yeah. So do a Zoom call. Cool.
And if it makes it easier, even a FaceTime call.
Sure.
People love that FaceTime, and literally.
Just
So.
talk to Raphael for a second. He's taking-
What, we got over 200? Oh, boy. Thank you guys so much. That's incredible. I mean, isn't that wild, Ref?
Yeah.
Let's do that for everybody. We love you. Thank you. Seriously, thank you.
You gotta patent that
That's
Bell
awesome.
technology there.
Yeah, that is some serious. No, show them this angle, like the whiteboard. Can you see it? This is some
Trade
this is some trade secrets we're sharing
Oh,
with
yeah.
you right now. Yeah. What's up?
Very nice today.
Oh, Alejandro's nice today. Okay. Alejandra is selecting
I wonder what that
some of our
means.
incredible audience. Some of our incredible people in here. Michael Tolliver, Gary Jones, Artist Guy, and the Kerr Company. We got 4? Holy
Let's
cow. Thank you guys so
go.
much. Listen, I'd like to do this every week, so if you didn't win this week, stick around. But that is awesome. We'll send this out to you. Alejandro will reach out and get all your sizes and address. We'll get this out to you.
There's that powerful name
ASAP.
again.
All
Gary
right?
Jones.
That is awesome. Wear the shirts to the meetups. For real. Shirts to the meetups, shirts to the RIAs, go bananas with it. It opens up conversation. I'll tell you what, I can't go through the airport without somebody saying, and it's usually security. They're like, what's this TTP thing? Yeah. Right, yeah.
Hey, our ladies at the UPS store wear them now.
Yeah, the UPS gals do. The teachers at Seamus' school do. Mr. Perfect Record. Ooh, I love that. Okay. I don't know if that's like a music record or just a record in whatever, life. But either way, it's awesome. Do you find value in learning personality types? 1,000%. You just cracked open Raphael. Holy cow. First of all, there is an incredible book. If you'll pull it up, it's called Versatile Selling. It's a green book. You can get it on Amazon, and we'll pull it up here. Versatile Selling. Incredibly dry. Like, this is not like they're going through. It's thin, but it's incredibly dry. It's very scientific. It's very, like, written by a psychologist, but it is everything, guys. I am telling you, once you understand different personality types, you understand how to communicate with them. And then when you understand how to communicate with them, it makes you versatile. Just like it says, it's versatile. You become a versatile person because then you're able to communicate the way that they want to be communicated with. And you're not just shoving your personality down their throat. So this is what charming people do. This is what people that go into any situation and they're asking questions and they're finding out about people so that they can understand is how people communicate. There it is. Yeah, you can pull that up. Yeah, that's a great one. By Wilson Learning. Yeah, this one right here. I'm telling you, it is incredible. How many pages is it? It's not that long. It's like maybe 160 pages right there. It's fantastic. But Raph, talk to me about it. I mean, this is, you literally, so we used to do this Go Giver meetup, and it was all the top real estate investors in Phoenix. And we're talking everybody, all the big ones, you know, Cody Sperber, Steve Trang, Jamil, Pace, Raph, myself, some incredible people that are really quiet, but they're really, really, really incredible here in the Valley. And Raphael did a whole presentation on understanding personality types for hiring and also for sales. And it's, you know, go ahead. I'll just give you the stage now.
No, it's huge. It's actually one of the best things that I've spent time understanding. That just opens the door to everything else, right? When you're talking communication, it's really what it comes down to: effective communication, not just with buyers and sellers and in our case, you know, students and you know, clients, but you know, family members, is everybody around you. So one thing that I see happening is people understand, or they get to a point where they understand DISC or you know, the basics of profiles, and then they'll pay for the tests and hire based on DISC and all that stuff, but they don't know how to communicate with those, you know, with those personality profiles.
Right.
Spend some time. I mean, it's one of those things. Even if you take it, I mean, see this as if you were learning, like, I don't know, French or Italian or something, because it really is the same thing.
Sure.
We speak the same context, the same English, right? But the understanding is completely different. So yeah, 1,000% when it comes to understanding how people communicate, how people perceive information, it's a game changer. Total game changer.
And what you'll find is it's really interesting. In our business, typically analyticals, which really run us through the ringer, are the lowest possibility of people that we're going to do business with. Because analyticals, although they're the engineer type and they're kind of like slower talking and very responsible, they pay their bills. They keep things clean. They like doing lawn work. They like fixing the gutters. They like doing these like very, very specific analytical activities. And usually we don't, if they're asking for a ton of numbers and how'd you come up with this and what'd you do here and what'd you do there, sometimes it happens, but for the most part, I've seen that we work with amiables, expressives, and the third down the rung is drivers, right? Drivers are the ones that kind of bark at you. What do you give me? What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff. Sometimes you can get past them because they've just screwed up their life some way. But usually it's amiables number one, expressives number two, typically. Cassandra, hi, Brent and TTP family. Seller, who is my mom, wants to sell in November because she is traveling out of the country. Should I ask her to sign the agreement contract now? Yeah, I mean, you could sign it now. It just depends on if you think your mom's going to sell it to somebody else.
It would really suck if you sold it to another wholesaler.
I mean, it probably, just to answer your question, Cassandra, it typically takes 30 days to close. So if you wanted to lock it up in late September, October, that's fine. It just depends. Just make sure that if you need more time to find more buyers, if you don't have a lot of buyers, then lock it up earlier. Just let them know that it's not going to close for a long time. And a buyer will be fine with that if it's in their pipeline, but usually they want to close quickly too because they have to put their money somewhere. So it just depends. I mean, if she's traveling out of the country, is it an investment property? Give me a little bit more. Is it an investment property or is it where she lives? And is she traveling out of the country to stay out of the country, or is she going to be back and need somewhere to live? Be interesting. Because if it's empty, then do it right now. I mean, there should be nothing stopping her. So give me a little bit more context. Brendan. Hey, Brent. When does the seller have to be out of the property after signing the contract and you assign it? By the closing date. It just depends, Brendan. But typically in the contract, the seller is out of there. And it's just laid out there in the contract. They need to vacate the property by the close of escrow date. Unless you do what's called a post-possession, which means they need to get the money out of that property, and then they need to take that money to be able to go and live their life, right? So, yeah, it just depends on if they need to stay there, if they need the money to move somewhere else. But typically, it's the close of escrow date. Yeah. It's not like you get the contract signed to sign it, and they're like, oh, no, I got to get out of here. Like, the ownership has to transfer to the new buyer, typically. Kiva, I ordered the recommended book by Brent the Go-Giver for my partner Rob, and I just got a notification. It came in today. I can't wait to crack those pages open. That is right. This book right here, I am telling you, this one, The 5 Laws of Stratospheric Success, it is bananas. Read this every single week for a year. And let's be real. What I did is I highlighted it the first time, and then I just reread the highlights every week for a year. It took me like 15 minutes. And that's a really interesting thing is I don't think it's necessarily how many books you read, but how many times you reread the ones that really blow your face off. You know what I mean? And that was a big mistake that I had is I would highlight these books and then I'd give them away. And then I was like, oh, man, now I got to go back through these again. You know what I mean?
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book. Great job. Get it going. It really puts things into perspective. We're put on this earth to be in service to others. And so how do you want that? What form do you want that to be? Because work is powerful. Work is the fourth gift that God gave Adam, right? Before Eve. Right? He gave him the garden to cultivate. And it's really, really important. Idle hands do the devil's work. And however religious you want to do, I just like that saying. You know what I mean? And it's really the truth. Any time in my life that I was idle, it was a bad time. I was not this person. I'll tell you that. I did not have that sparkle in my eye. Drank way too much, partied way too much, went out way too late, stayed, in my little bubble, whatever else. And I will tell you, the more that you can put yourself in the service of others to just go out there and provide value to your company, to the people that you work for, to the community, to these distressed property owners, to the cash buyers, to whatever it is. If you're coaching to your students, you're going to feel amazing. That fire in your belly goes it just goes crazy. It's an inferno. Louis, got my first contract 2 days ago. I bet you did. Look at you, Captain Professional. Look at that guy. Who took that picture? Yeah, it does. He's a model. That could be a stock photo in any Apple product. Anyway, got my first contract 2 days ago, but the seller said he wants earnest money of $2,500. If I'm not able to get a buyer to submit earnest money due to not being able to inspect the property, can I back out of the contract? Yes, but if it's a deal, find the money. Seriously. Somebody, Louis, find where are you doing business? Where is this deal? Connect with somebody that's in that market. Put it in the comments section right now. Somebody help him out. Somebody help him find that $2,500. Somebody connect him with a buyer. Connect him with yourself. I'm telling you guys, you could be doing deals every single show that we do. Every single show. This is a perfect example. Yes, if you're in your inspection period, sure, you can get out of that contract. But if it's a deal, bro, do not back out because it's $2,500. Okay? Congratulations on getting it signed. Now, if you're like, I'm not really sure if this is a deal, and get somebody in here that can help you comp it. Any TTP students, reach out to Louis. All right? We sell them all over the place. We can help you dispo it if you need it, right? We've got a nationwide cash buyer list. So there should be nothing stopping anybody in here. But Louis, you got it. Congratulations on getting that signed. Let's ring that. Let's ring that so that we give him some energy so he doesn't cancel that deal. Uh-oh! Keep it down. Hold on. Peter, look at this. I got a house under contract. It was an MLS deal. I paid $218. Can you tell me if I got a good deal? Sure. Yeah. What's the did you buy it, Peter? We'll look at it right now. I'll comp it right now. It'll be phenomenal. Take a look.
He says it's under contract, so.
It's under contract, so you shouldn't be concerned. Let me get into PropStream and log in. We're ready for you.
Do you send the address?
If the Wi-Fi works. If not, I'll have to get my phone from Alejandra. Because this is not batch service _TTP.
Yeah, either one.
Okay. Anyway, got a JV deal. Ian Costales? Is that Costales?
Yep.
I love that. That's a cool word. Got a JV locked up on a 5-plex from a networking event this past Friday. 5.7 cap in SoCal. Potential 100K split. Come on. Let's go. Ian, let us know where that's at. We might have a buyer for it. Seriously. And he might be wearing a TTP shirt every day. Have fabulous hair. Costs $115 to cut my hair. I charge them. No. Okay.
Got another one too.
Simon Cox just signed a contract back for 11 units in Detroit. Will sign for $500K, 7.8 cap at current rents, 12.8 at market rents. Willing to do JV. Somebody. Well, first let's ring the bell for locking that thing up.
7.8 cap. Nice.
Somebody that's got multifamily in their blood, like. Get at Simon right now. Get that sold, Simon. Get it out there. If you need help, listen, if it's a situation where you need some help, TTP Insider, ttpinsider.com. If it is a real deal, and we're going to really look at it, we're going to really run it through the ringer and really see, and I'm not talking to you, Simon, I'm talking to everybody else. If anybody needs help selling a deal, JV, it's the JV button on TTP Insider. JV, but by the way, if you're not into TTP Insider, get in there. It's bananas. We've got toolboxes, we got free courses, we got free downloads, we got everything that you could possibly need to get started completely for free. But the JV in that goes right to Jeremy, my disposition manager, and he's selling deals all over the place. It's incredible. So he'll let you know. David, there he is from Nigeria, all the way. David, how old are you? 19, 20? I feel like you're 19. How do you make at least 3 to 5 offers a day when 99.9% of sellers you talk to in a day are not interested? Yeah, that's about the right stat. 1 out of 200 people, 1 out of 200 conversations that you have, you'll get a deal. So just remember that. So it's probably 99.5%, David, if we're doing math. Anyway, you can make offers by you could do them verbally, all right? You could do that, or you can just send offers to them anyway. It just depends on if you want to just constantly be sending offers, but just do it verbally. Just let them know. Well, I'd be over here at this price. You'll talk to them. You'll get them. What are you talking? You just got 3 deals from Nigeria. 3.
You got 3 deals
We
from
dispoed
Nigeria?
one of them.
Yeah.
Jeremy sold it through the JV on TTP Insider.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, we have people across the pond killing it, doing
Well,
deals.
we have people in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, we meet people here
Everywhere.
in Phoenix that just like, I can't get going. I just can't get started, and I get it. But that goes back to that whole batteries included.
Yeah.
Are the batteries
Tenacity.
included?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you need to have the energy. You need to break through that. If you have that punch to the gut, that's when you know you're moving in the right direction. When it is scary, that is growth. When it's growth, that means that you become something else. You change into somebody else, the person that you want to be. You should feel it. It should be hard. That's why most people don't do it. That's why most people don't do it. Isn't that crazy? And if you're just joining, I did a breakdown, so make sure that you watch it after the show. But you get into these, you get into making $1 million. It's a 37% tax bracket plus whatever your state is. Call it 10%. That's 47% that you pay in taxes. 47% that you pay in taxes for going out there and just absolutely crushing it, right? But people don't get to that point because people are just, they're just don't want to provide that much value. So all the people making all that money are paying all the taxes. It's an interesting perspective. I feel very good about it because I feel like, whatever. I mean, I don't think the government should be big by any means, not to get political, but that's a lot more than my relatives are paying. I'll tell you that.
Well, when you look at it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes behind it, but it's a good problem to have. I mean,
it is.
If you have to pay a lot of taxes because you crushed it, you made a lot of money. So.
Yep. I'm a Lyft driver in San Francisco Bay Area. Awesome. I can be anywhere in the Bay Area at any given time. My eyes are always on ugly properties. I take a lot of pictures. Available to squat up for D4D in the Bay. Ooh. There you go. Listen, if you are in the Bay Area, here is your squad up opportunity. Get in there. That is awesome. Yeah, squat up. And build those lists. Build those lists. What is that? You logging into Insider?
I'm trying to pull a venture thing up.
Oh, okay. Ian, got a JV locked up on a 5-plex from a networking event this yeah, we got that one. Yep, Ian crushed that. We rang the bell for Ian on that.
Oh, sorry.
Crystal, how do you do a fix and flip or remodeling on a multifamily unit with existing tenants? They have to move out first.
Start with the vacants.
Yeah, you start with the vacant properties, the vacant units, and then you just do them as people move out, then you do them. Or what you do is, some people do is they have one that's vacant, they fix it up, they move person from A to B, and now they live in B, and then you do A. You fix that one up, and then just keep going on and on and on. But if they have a long-term lease and it's locked in, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to go fix this up, make it nicer for you, and charge you more. That's not the agreement that the landlord put in place. So typically they just wait until the lease is done. They tell the people that they can either move into a different unit or they'll have to find somewhere else, and then they start fixing up the unit. Or somebody buys it and they wait for everybody's lease to be done and they get it vacated and then they totally remodel it. John Johnson, the number one wholesaling Discord, huh? He's crushing his Discord.
Yeah, he is.
What has he got? 800 people in there?
Oh, just about.
He's about to be public, huh? What do you need, 1,000? What'd you say, tell me?
1,000.
John Johnson, providing value. I love it. How do we make a compelling offer to a probate lead? They say they are looking for the most amount of money because they have a fiduciary responsibility. I absolutely agree. I will give you the absolute most that I'm willing to pay. That's it. Well, if you want the appraised value, put it on the market. Put it on the market. You know what I mean? This is the amount that I can give you. Is that, do you believe that this is the most amount of money you can get for this property? And John, you can have a conversation that goes, listen, I am not the guy to give you the most amount of money. I'm the one that's willing to give you the most that I am willing to, but maybe there's somebody else that'll give you more. Here's the price that I can give you. But the speed and convenience and making this smooth counts for something. So if you want the speed and convenience, I'm your guy. If you want the most, put it on the market. Just get them, refer them to a really great real estate agent. We can't convince. Deal finders, not deal creators, right? Yeah. Gonzale, do you have any hard money lenders you recommend? It depends on where you're at. I only use hard money lenders in town. And oftentimes for my business personally, Dunzale, I am the hard money lender because I have the cash to buy it. But you can literally go into any investment group in Facebook and type in who's the best hard money lender to work with, and it's going to be crazy. Or find somebody that you really respect in your industry and just say, who do you get your hard money from? Right? Or if you don't want to do any of that, Google it. Just Google hard money lenders in your area. It's going to come up. Have conversations with them and get their price sheet. Can you send me all your price sheet, all your terms? And yeah. But if you're in Phoenix, I like Boomerang and I like Capital Fund. Yeah. There you go. Rebus Solutions. How does a novation agreement work? We'll go down a rabbit hole. I'm going to actually have Pace come on. He said next week, but his schedule gets a little bit goofy because of their filming for their TV show. So I can't promise that, but who knows? So we're going to really be breaking this down. But basically, to put it in simplest terms, if you understand what a wholesale is basically you buy this property from the seller and then you close on it and you immediately put it on the MLS. It's very similar to that, but you don't have to buy the property. You actually become partners with the owner of the property, and then you help clean it up so that you can get the most amount, and then you guys split the profits, and they get a certain amount, and then you get a certain amount. So it's an interesting strategy for people that want retail and the properties aren't in terrible condition. It can work, and I'm digging into it more because I want to give my coaching students like every single tool in the toolbox. But I think if you're just starting out, it's not a strategy I would mess with. I would stick to ugly houses, big checks, for sure. What are your thoughts on purchasing a house zero down instead of fix and flip? Knock house down. Use the lot for Airbnb builds ×4. Would a lender be open to such a scenario? Crystal, it depends on the zoning of that property, right? What is it zoned? If it's single family, you can't just put 4 builds on it unless you get it rezoned, which is very difficult in a lot of different areas. Maybe not in yours. You'd have to talk to the county zoning department. But if you get a house zero down, are you getting a free house? Is that what's going on here? Or is it something like the owner's financing it and then you're like, okay, I'll just make you monthly payments and then you're going to knock it down and rebuild? You can. It'll probably take you 18 months to 2 years. And it'll be nice cash flowing at that time, but it'll be a non-stop distraction for you. That to me sounds like a nightmare situation in my perspective, because I want to go, just like I said, ugly houses, big checks, and just get paid a lot of money and then go buy something that you built. You know what I mean? Or somebody else in the market built, and it's just like, boom, done. Okay, property manager, shoop, and we're good. We're off and running. But if you want to go into that stuff, you can. But I would use the first year, and maybe you've done this a long time, Crystal, I don't know. But I would use anybody. The first 12 months is nothing but finding discounted properties. Literally. Because what happens is you go and you get, like these guys, deals. I mean, people are talking about $90,000 deals, $130,000 deals, $20,000 deals, $35,000 deals, $70,000 deals. They got paid in 30 days. No money out of pocket. No contractors. No zoning departments. No hearings to get things, you know, to get things rezoned. No inspectors coming every 2 weeks to make sure that things are getting done. Now, if you have a whole contracting team that you know, like, and trust in place, you know where to get all the supplies and materials, you get discounts and all those things, you're in that business, go bananas. Luke Rotfold, Viking Boys, this is what they do. They wholesaled, but they focused, and now they develop, and now they flip. Now I'm their lender. And they do a great job. But I'm telling you, they are cash poor all the time. All the time. Because they got it all tied up. And it's tied up for 6 months to 2 years. For real, for real. So it just depends on what you want to do. And then they wholesale. Then they get cash back in to live off of. And they do all these projects. And they're going to be, I mean, they have $1 billion mindset. And that's fantastic. But it's they stuck to wholesaling for 3 straight years. Maybe 4. Before they started doing any of this stuff. Just thought. Isaac, what finally pulled you out of rat mentality? Work. Door knocking 15,000 doors with a group, not all myself. The group, but it was me and Dustin, my business partner at the time, and then we had a real estate team knocking doors. But literally just threw myself into work. I had to do something. I had lost everything in 2009, and 2010 was a rough year. 2009 and 10. 2008 through 10 was miserable. And I just got back to work. I just got back to the things that I knew were effective. I went to my superpower, which is talking to people and just going out there and bringing a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And it took a while. It took me a while to build that back up. It took me a while to get so exhausted during the day that I didn't want to go out to the bar, right? And having kids help, honestly. I mean, once 2011, Seamus came around and it was like, boo, that whole life changed, right? So it was just work and responsibility and building on one little success and stacking the small wins and digging myself out, and it really helped. Really, really helped.
I did a podcast yesterday with Ricardo Rosales, and we were talking about this actually. Like one of the biggest things, like the point where you come to the fork on the road, right, and decide. The game changer for us, for both of us, was just focusing on personal growth as we're doing the work, right?
100%.
So you got to do the work, and then you were asking me about books. We're in the middle of all this, putting content together, putting deals together, working on all kinds of stuff. Yet we're still working on ourselves.
That's it.
Tap into that space, Isaac, too. If you haven't done so yet, start reading up on different things that are going to change your perspective, that are going to give you different points of views on what you think you already know, because it's really going to shine light on the rest of the stuff. So there's got to be a counterbalance of the two going on between you going balls to walls on what you're doing, and then building yourself up along the way. So it's both, and then getting out of that rat race mentality really becomes a byproduct, because of if your mind is not idle, you're not going to focus on the bad stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And The interesting thing is when you start going out there and taking action, providing value and working, you win. It's inevitable. I mean, it's the law of cause and effect, right? And then when you start winning, winners want to be around you. And then all of a sudden you're around winners instead of people that are hanging out at bars or whatever else. And all of a sudden you're just around the people that you want to be like, and then grow and grow. And without a doubt, personal development. During those times, I wasn't reading. I wasn't doing the, podcasts weren't really out. It wasn't something that I was like really developing. It was all about entertainment. It was about barely squeaking by, and it was just keep my head down, whatever. And it's just a weird spot, really, really weird spot. And just going out there, putting in the work, helped me win. And then when you win, you're around winners. And the squad means everything. Your personal board of directors means everything. So, ooh, that is a tough one. Think and Grow Rich. Go Giver, for sure. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, that'll just, it blows your brains out. I think Happiness Advantage is a really, really good one. Happiness Advantage. And, ooh, man, the fifth one. Yeah, I'd have to think about it on the spot. Probably this one here. Sorry. The Road Less Stupid. This is Keith Cunningham, by the way, guys. Keith Cunningham is Rich Dad. Rich Dad's kind of a mixture of two different people, but for the most part, the principles came from Keith Cunningham, and it's phenomenal. And I would highly suggest. It's tough to get through. I mean, it's a lot, and it's like a machine gun. I would highly suggest you get the book and the Audible, and listen to the Audible as you're going through the book, because he reads it, and it's dope. There you go. If that's just top 5. I mean, if it's just I'd love. The 4-pack of Reese's Pieces. This is a wild man. Bradley, you're a wild man. That's wild.
That's
but
living
delicious.
In abundance,
but
Brent.
Delicious. I mean, that was like a challenge,
One
as a
book
kid.
that's never really talked about, but I think is very powerful, is The Power of Habit.
Oh, yeah.
Power of Habit.
Love it.
It's a really good book.
Jared, how do I find any meetups around Orange County? Meetup.com. For real. Meetup.com, and then go into Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets has a lot of people that put together just groups. So you'll find a lot there. And just go into any Facebook groups and see where people... Is there any RIAs to go to? Real Estate Investor Association is what RIA stands for. And then... just post to the Facebook groups and just ask. All right? Awesome. Akir, I don't know what to do. I've been at this for 4 weeks now, and I can't get no one on the phone. BatchSkipTracing.com, Akir. If you're getting it from White Pages, you're getting it from True People Search, you're getting it from PropStream, you're getting it from Deal Machine, it's not as good. I'm telling you, BatchSkipTracing.com is the gold standard. Everybody else measures themselves with. All these companies came out, right? All of these skip tracing companies came out. And I'm the talk to people guy. I was having people get VAs across that were like all scattered throughout the world that had access to what was called a LexisNexis or a TLO account that could pull addresses individually for phone numbers. That was my first resource for my training course. And then Batch Skip Tracing came out, and a bunch of all the other ones came out, and I tried them all out, and I tested them all out, and Batch was the best. And Annie Evo and Jesse were like, well, do you think that you could promote us? And I was like, I would love to. Can I put it in my program? Can I talk about it on my YouTube channel? Can I talk about it on the podcast? And they're like, yeah. Then all of a sudden, I come home one day from a business trip. Not business trip. I went and spoke, I think in like Alabama or something. I came home. Annie, Evo, and Jesse are at my house. My wife's there. And they're like, we just wanted to say thank you. We DM'd your wife and Erin and told her we wanted to say thank you, and you could go anywhere. We will pay a full expenses anywhere on the planet that you guys want to go on vacation. It's up to you. And we had small kids at the time, so I understand my wife's choice. She actually, instead of, whatever, somewhere tropical or somewhere in Europe or, some sort of Thailand or somewhere that's in Asia, it was San Francisco. And you know what? It was great. It was great. It was a great trip. No, I get it. She didn't want. I mean, she's like, "What are we gonna do? We got like a baby. We can't leave for like a week, So we did a 4-day trip to San Francisco and just had a ball. It's the people you're with that matter on those type of things, not the locations. Anyway, but that was really cool. And then we built a relationship, and I've been promoting them ever since. And they're the best of the best. I wouldn't promote anything I don't use, and that's just a fact. Logan. Best list to go pull today to get a deal tomorrow. I would say Driving for Dollars list, and that's something that you have to build up. Or today, I would go to Dr. Bill's real estate agent list, and you got to Google it because it's a crazy website. Will somebody reach out? Somebody reach out and see if we could buy this website, please. Okay, let's put that on the list. I need to know who Dr. Bill's is, and it's got all the real estate agents. And I would just start calling them, Logan. I would just start calling them now. Just say, hey, listen, I need your help. I'm an investor. I'm looking for properties that need to be renovated. I want to get it before it hits the market. I wanted to see if you had anything coming up. I need you to represent me. I like Driving for Dollars because they're bigger deals typically than you're going to get from an agent, but it takes a little bit longer. But I would start calling real estate agents for real. I mean, you could pull tired landlords. You could pull all those things. But, just right there under the spotlight, that's what I would do, Logan. I would start calling real estate agents and just tell them I need your help. Ryan Zolan talks about it every time on Thursdays, and if you need some more assistance, join us tomorrow. We go live from 10 to Pacific time to 11:30 with Ryan Zolan, and that's his bread and butter, his agent deals. Good. Let's do one more because I got a welcome call with a new student at noon. So is that it? Okay, Sebastian. I got my first deal. Closing is scheduled May 25th. Final walkthrough is May 21st. But the question is, the seller stopped responding since last Thursday. What do I do? Could I lose the deal? Any idea? Sebastian, call the title company or closing attorney and see how their communication has been with the seller. If they've been doing it, they could be busy, bro. They could be totally busy, so don't even worry about that. Talk to the title company, see if they've communicated, see if they've got scheduled for them to sign and close. That'll give you a real indication. So don't freak out yet. Go talk to the title company. All right, let's bring everybody up. Come on up. Sorry. Let's bring that for Sebastian. Come on. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. That was an incredible, incredible show. Great questions, great celebrations. On behalf of Rafael Cortez and Aaron Sanquez and Matt Hill and Alejandra Murch, we want to say we love you. Remember, keep your house clean. Your house clean, right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you'll live an incredible life. We love you. I'll see you tomorrow.